So, first, thank you everybody for joining, whoever's going to be joining for this new series that a few weeks ago, Rav Vichemar Morgenstern strongly encouraged me to start. Um, I went to speak to him a little bit about what I should be learning, what I should be trying to teach. And his answer over and over again was teach Sichos HaRan, teach Sichos HaRan. And the more, I guess we could say, complex or sophisticated or advanced things that I have an interest in teaching, he said, stop and teach Sichos HaRan. So that's what I decided to do. And Bezras Hashem, hopefully, we'll be able to keep it up. Just to begin, I want to thank Neil and I want to thank Neil and Joni Harris for sponsoring today, the first day of our Sichos HaRan Daily. For Refuah Shlema for Esther Bas Rivka. She should have a easy, complete, and comfortable Refuah B'Karov. Okay. So we're going to start off with Sicha Aleph. My hope is to try and get through one Sicha every day. Some are longer and will have to be hit on a more surface level. Some are shorter and we'll be able to dig in more deeply. But hopefully we can move through one each day. So Sicha Aleph begins. Ki ani yadati ki gadol Hashem v'adonenu mikol Elokim. He quotes the pasuk in Tehillim, that ki ani yadati, because I know, ki gadol Hashem v'adonenu mikol Elokim, that Hashem is very great, and his mastery, his mastery is greater than all other forces, all other forces, all other gods with a small g, all other things that we might attribute power to. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is greater than all of those things. David HaMelech alav hashalom amar, ki ani yadati. So David HaMelech is saying, ki ani yadati. He's saying that I know, right? I know. Ani yadati daiti. I specifically know. Specifically me. Specifically I am the one who knows. Ki gedulas habore yisparach efshar lomar l'chaveru. Because Rabbi Nachman teaches, it is impossible for one person to properly convey and communicate their experience of the godless Habore to anybody else. And it's even impossible for a person to convey it to themselves, to carry over from one day to the next. Their experience of HaKadosh Baruch Hu yesterday is going to be different from their experience of HaKadosh Baruch Hu today. The experience of the godless Habore, if one is sensitive to it and one is attentive to it, is going to be different from day to day for each person, and is going to be different from person to person. It is deeply personal. It is deeply subjective and experiential. And each and every person's experience is dramatically different and is something you can't quite put into words and therefore can't be communicated, right? The deep, innate experience of the godless Hashem is something that we know, as the Mekubalim write often, Yodea mitziuso, v'lo yodea mohuso. We know that it's there. We have a general sense of what it is, but we don't know what it is, and we can't describe it. We can't put our finger on its character. If you had to write it down and put it into words, words are too small to convey it, and certainly to communicate it from person to person is too small. And so each person's experience of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is to bring in things that aren't normally brought in when talking about Rabbi Nachman, are, as Rav Yossi Bar Soloveitchik would describe it, is a lonely experience. Each person's experience and awareness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is lonely, because it is truly and completely theirs, and they can't really share it and connect with other people on it. You can connect and share all sorts of things with other people, and you can connect with other people over religion and spirituality and Dveikus and halacha and Judaism and all other kinds of good things, but all of those things that you're capable of connecting to someone else over and communicating with someone else, and they're capable of communicating with you about, It's not the thing itself. It's the chitzonius of the thing. It's something that's dancing around the real essence of what's really there. And so you have something that's deeply, deeply yours below whatever it is that other people can share. And it's only yours, and nobody else can touch it, and nobody else can really understand it. And even you can't really understand it because it changes from day to day, and not only from day to day, but from moment to moment. Everything is changing all the time. The Arizal writes, Ein Yom Doma L'Chavero, each day is different from every other day because each day is an entire Bria Chadash, is an entirely new thing. And Rabbi Nachman writes this. The Baal HaTanya talks about this in Likutei Torah, that each and every day we experience, or we experience, whether consciously or not, but we have an entirely new experience and encounter with our emunah, with our relationship of trust and connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because each day is completely different. Each moment to moment is completely different on a deep panemius level. And so it's even hard for us to connect and communicate to ourselves what's going on, because as soon as we communicate it, it's already gone and it's in the past, and now we're on to the next thing. And so we're trying to access something that is that's not there anymore. Lefi masha mazriach lo misnotzis lo ba'oso hayom eno yochel saper la'atzmo liyom sheni hazricha v'asnotzes shel gedulas habar yisparach shahaya lo etmol. Because each and every day, whatever is shining for you, and what is sparking for you on this day, you can't tell yourself anything about it the next day, because the next day you're experiencing something else entirely. V'alkein amar ki ani yadati, and this is why David Amel says ani yadati daiko. I know, only I know. I'm the only one who knows the Gedulas Hashem. I'm the only one who understands what it is that I'm experiencing. Ki efshel saper klal. It's something that can't be expressed, can't be communicated in any way, shape, or form. Va'amar shemasha kasav acharav, and this is why Rabbi Nachman says that the rest of that parak of Tehillim shifts a little bit, and it starts talking about the externalization of God's presence in the world. It says afterwards, Kol asher chafetz Hashem asa, God does whatever He wants, b'shamayim v'aretz v'chulu v'chulu, and it talks about the miracles of creation and the miracles that Hakadosh Baruch Hu works for the Jewish people, and so on and so forth. It talks about Yetzias Mitzrayim, and it talks about Kriyas Yamsuf, and so on. It talks about externalizations of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence. Why? Hu inyan acher legamri. It talks about something entirely different, right? The parak started talking about the personal experience of David HaMelech, of a consciousness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then it turns to talk about miracles and externalizations and natural manifestations of God's presence in the world. What's going on? Why? Because v'rachol legamri mesheva ki ani yadati. It's something entirely different from the praise that David HaMelech is giving of ani yadati, I know. These aren't things I know. These are things, these are history. These are not personal experience. Because as soon as you say ani yadati gedulas Hashem, as soon as you say I am the only one who knows this, you can't. There's nothing else to say. All you can really say is I know it, and that's all I can really say. You can't understand it. You can't touch it. And you can't judge me for it. You can't evaluate it. You can't tell me whether I'm getting it right or getting it wrong. I can't communicate it to you so that you can evaluate it and ask questions about it, or try to flesh it out more, or say that this is the wrong way to do it and that's a different way. No, there's nothing more to say. Rak ani yadati. I know. Daika kana. That's all there is to say. All I can say is v'hu gavoa ma'od ma'od, is very, very high. Gavoa me'al gavoa mashi yafshel lepeh lesaper. It's something beyond what the peh can say. It's, as Rabbi Nachman says, and Rabbi Nosson elaborates in many places, it's sort of harkens to the Maimer Sassim. It harkens to the point at which we can't speak, and even so to speak, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not speaking. It's the original point of creation. It's the keser of creation, the Maimer Sassim, the point at which before when we say we have Asar Mamaros Nivra Olam, that there are 10 utterances, there are 10 Vayomer Elokims with which all reality is created, and every little bit of reality is being created by those Asar Mamaros, including my experience of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's always a Maimer Sasim, because really in Sefer Bereshis, and only say in Parshas Bereshis, it says Vayomer Elokim only 9 times. Rabbi Nosson says the 10th one, that's the Maimer Sasim. That's the Beis of Bereshis, or really the Vayomer that causes the Beis of Bereshis, but no one says that. The Torah doesn't say that. You can't really say anything about it. It's prior to saying. It's too high up, it's too abstract, it's too all-encompassing. There's nothing really to talk about, and that is exactly what we're accessing and connecting to when we are able to be aware. Even if we don't know what it is, we know that it's there, this personal, deep experience of whatever it is that I know of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that I know and you don't know and nobody else knows, and even I don't know from moment to moment. That's us touching the essence of the central origination point of creation, the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is present within us, and that we can have access to mibisari echse Elokai. Ukamosha Kasabazar, as it says in the Zohar, Noda Bashar and Bala, Kol Chad Lufumad Meshayar Libe, each and every person understands it and connects to it in accordance with whatever is floating around in their heart, right? The subjective reality of an experience of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're so used to constructing these things externally and constructing these things on a chitzonius level. This is how my Judaism is supposed to work. This is how my Devekus is supposed to work. This is how my relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is supposed to work. This is how my relationship with other things are supposed to work, with people, with my job, with Torah learning, with the community, etc., etc., etc. All of these are just projections of the original and fundamental relationship that exists between a Borei and a Nivra, between a Mnosin and a Makabel. And we live in a physical world where we have a sense where this is how it's supposed to look. But really, and although that is true, although there is an external aspect to how these things are supposed to look, we do exist within a space of tzimtzum, and the tzimtzum is intentional, and we're supposed to live in that space. Nevertheless, despite the fact that we live in that tzimtzum, nevertheless, as the Zohar tells us about the Torah itself, never ever think that there's just the guf of Torah and not the neshama of Torah that is not really explicit within the guf of Torah. Torah is something that is beyond just the words on the page or the mitzvos that are externalizations of the Ratzon Hashem that lies deep within it. And that deep Ratzon Hashem, that's what we're connecting to, and that is deeply, deeply internal and deeply, deeply personal and deeply, deeply subjective, the chelik of Torah that each and every individual has that no one else really can access and can really touch. Kemavur b'makmachar, like is explained elsewhere. Okay, and that is Sicha Aleph and Sichos HaRan. Be'ezras Hashem will continue tomorrow with Sicha Beis and be able to continue going, hopefully with strength and continuity and consistency. Be'ezras Hashem. Shkayach, thank you for joining.